Air warfare in World War I, early development and roles. World War I marked the first major conflict to feature extensive use of aircraft in military operations. At the war's outset in 1914, aviation was still in its infancy, barely a decade after the Wright brothers' first powered flight. Initially, aircraft were primarily used for reconnaissance and observation, providing valuable intelligence on enemy troop movements and artillery spotting. Dirigibles were also employed for reconnaissance and bombing raids, especially by Germany. Evolution of combat and technology. By 1915, technological advances such as the forward-firing machine gun synchronized to fire through the propeller arc transformed aircraft from passive observers into active combatants. This innovation led to the rise of the fighter ace and dogfighting tactics. Over 1916 and 1917, air combat evolved from individual duels to larger formations and coordinated patrols, increasing the scale and complexity of aerial warfare, which contributed to the concept of total war. Propaganda often highlighted air raids to depict the enemy as ruthless aggressors. The experiences and innovations of WWI aviators laid the foundation for the rapid development of military aviation in the decades to follow. Strategic and tactical roles. As the war progressed, air power expanded beyond reconnaissance and air-to-air combat to include tactical support, close air support for ground troops, artillery spotting, and battlefield reconnaissance. Strategic bombing, targeting enemy infrastructure, supply lines, and industrial centers to disrupt war production and morale. Naval aviation, reconnaissance and attacks on enemy ships and submarines. By 1900s, air attacks on German industry and lines of communication was seen as potentially decisive factors in the war's outcome. Organizational milestones. Significant development was the formation of the Royal Air Force in April 1980, the world's first independent air force separate from Army or Navy control. This reflected the growing recognition of air power as a distinct and crucial element of modern warfare. Other nations, including the United States, were still developing their air services during the war. Impact and legacy. Air warfare in World War I introduced new dimensions to combat, including the targeting of civilian areas and infrastructure. Summary: WWI saw the transition of aircraft from reconnaissance tools to active combat and strategic weapons. Technological advances like synchronized machine guns enabled fighter aircraft and dogfighting. Air power roles expanded to include tactical support, strategic bombing, and naval operations. The RAF was established as the first independent air force in 1980, marking a new era in military organization. The war set the stage for the future importance of air power in warfare and introduced the concept of total war involving civilian targets.